Acts of Faith, September. Everything was fine, but the beans were salty. There are people in your life you can never please no matter what you do. There is always something wrong with them, with the world, and with them. Criticism is the way adults cry. When we are in pain, nothing looks or feels good, particularly those close to us. We strike out because we cannot tune into what we are feeling. Criticism is our way of saying something is wrong with us and we see it in you. Do you take it personally when you loved one continually criticizes? They are never upset for the reason they say they are. Or whatever it is not your issue. Do not strike back when you are criticized. Remember, you are with someone who is in pain. Be gentle with them, love them, gently ask them to talk to you about what they really are feeling. I am all right with me. When one door closes, another one opens. Many people ask, why can't I find a good relationship? Perhaps it is because they haven't truly entered the last one. We hold on to people in our hearts and finds long before they have gone. We hold on to anger, hurt and pain. We may be holding ideas of revenge and destruction. We hold on to the romantic memories and special times, using them as measuring strikes for anyone who comes along. We hold on to our hearts, protecting them from pain. We have our minds filled with memories and doubts. We believe their dreams are shattered and will never come true. With all of this stuff we hold on to, how can others come get into our heart? We must learn how to close the door on our whole relationship. We must sort through the rubbish, clear out the garbage, and freshen up our hearts and minds to receive a new guest. If you believe I'm closing the door on the past. If you believe you are to blame for everything that goes wrong, you will have to stay until you fix it. Some of us, particularly women of color, set out ourselves up as to be martyrs. We are to blame, it is our fault. We just can't seem to do anything right, so we don't. We criticize mess after mess, crisis after crisis, then allow others to use us as doormats. Smart move. As long as you are to blame, you cannot be held responsible or accountable for what we do not accomplish. We are too busy fixing the mess, figuring out what to do, or if we should be doing anything at all, as long as we have something or someone to fix. We cannot fix ourselves. We can never fix the fear of our power. We will never fix the fear of our beauty. We cannot fix our pain and confusion and desperate feelings in isolation. We don't have to face our fears and try to fix them. After all, it is our fault. We are like this, and as long as we are to blame, we will never have to face the thought that other must share in the responsibility of getting things done. The only thing I will fix today is me. It doesn't matter what road you take, hill or climb, the path you're on, you will always end up in the same place learning. There is nothing more devastating to the human soul than what we call a broken heart. He did me wrong. She put me out. He cheated me. She lied. I cried out. I can't eat. I can't sleep. I see her face. I hear his voice. Please let him fall. I don't get to see her. Wait, hold it. Hearts don't break. We love our heads, not with our hearts. We develop an idea of what a relationship should be, how our men should behave, and what we want to feel in the process. If things do not go the way we planned, our hearts are broken. There is a secret in this love thing. We must learn how to love honestly with no preconceived notions. Loving honestly means being who we are, accepting our mess for who they are, demanding nothing in return for who we are, demanding nothing in return for our love. Under these conditions, if things do not go well, it has nothing to do with our heart. It's our poor choices that have caused this with us. The only thing we can do about a broken heart is fix our head. My heart is unbreakable. The only way we have to peace in a relationship is to know how to butter our own bread. If you are in a relationship that causes you imbalance and anguish, get out. You are in a relationship that does not support you, lower your energy, leave it alone. If you are in a relationship where you give more than you give, when you give it's not respected, where your security you seek is costing you peace of mind, you have got nothing else to lose, so leave. We come together in a relationship to grow, not to live in misery. Our relationship is sustaining, energizing, and growth supporting. When they are not, our growth is stunted, our energy is depleted, and our personality is distorted. A solid, loving, supportive relationship is like a shot of light. It is a source of inspiration. It provides a spark of motivation to encourage you onto the highest evolution of yourself. If you are in a relationship in which you are happy, sometimes sad, most of the time struggling to figure out what to do and how to make it last, you are out of place and know when to quit. Make all your relationship an 8 or better. On a scale where 1 is low and 10 is high, we want to live as close to 10 as possible. We want to give and take the best in our relationship, whether it is a friendship, love affair, or business relationship. We must not allow mediocrity to be the standard. When we have no standard, our life becomes so crowded with people, demands, and unrealized expectations that we run the risk of losing ourselves. At 8, relationship is one where there is mutual support and respect. We can be who we are and to know and be accepted on that basis. There are common goals. Even when we disagree on matter, we can support the intent. In an 8 relationship, we give the joy of giving. We share the mutual growth. We give and complete honestly. We take what we need and do not fail to demand. The 8 relationship is one that we do not work on. It is one we work with and for striving for better as a mutual benefit. 1 means you don't have it, 6 is making it. 8 means you're definitely on the way to the top. There is no reason I must settle for less. Vulnerability is the gift I give to those I trust when I trust myself. Just because people are nice to us and don't ask anything in return does not mean there is something wrong with them. It is often hard for us to believe people can like us simply for who we are. Benny, a white man, was willing to give Frank, the black man, a kidney. Frank wouldn't accept it. He had known Benny for 3 short weeks. Frank knew very little about Benny, but he knew Benny must have had hidden agenda. Nobody gives a kidney away for nothing. Frank confronted Benny with his anger, suspicion, and fear. Quietly, Benny replied, I know you like to go fishing. I know you are a good father and a loving husband. I know because you are what you have shown me, based on what I've seen. I know you don't deserve to die. Frank accepted the kidney. Benny moved to Arizona and never saw Frank again. Blessings come in all colors. I get the ones I deserve. Love creates us and us without destroying the me. Love really is about people coming together to support each other. All the little tricks and the games they play to get their needs met are just that, tricks and games. It would be so much simpler to be honored ourselves and trusted our partners enough to ask for what we need. Instead, we want wait for them and to figure out. If they don't, we hold them responsible. What a cruel cry. If we let our partners know upfront what we need, we have a greater chance of having the need met. We must know that our needs are important, whether it is the hugs and the kisses, food drops, reassurance, or Hershey's syrup, but whipped cream, our needs do matter. Once we let our partners know what we need, we must accept the honest answer as to whether or not they can meet up those needs. If they cannot, we must then decide if these are the people we want in our lives. I honor my needs by letting my mate know what they are. Loving someone and pleasing someone are 2 different things. The mother knew that her teenage son was involved with some unsavory people and affairs. She remained silent when he started wearing expensive clothes. She turned her head when he flashed the money. She drew the line when she found the bloody clothes and the gun in the basement. The next morning, she called up the police and had her only son arrested. When the social worker asked her how she felt about what she had, and she replied, it's not easier for me to visit him every week in prison than it would be for me to take 1 trip to the cemetery. In all of our relationships, there comes a time when we must do what we know is right. If we love somebody, we want the best for them. If we not make them happy, it probably won't be easy. But loving someone doesn't mean allowing them to hurt themselves. It certainly doesn't mean you must allow them to hurt you. In loving you, I will not lose myself. Consider those whom you call your enemies and figure out what they should call you. You cannot choose size in a round world. You're either in it, a part of it, or you're off. When you have enemies, you are a part of the very things you accuse them of. An enemy offers you interest of position. An enemy is hostile, unkind, and unfriendly. And what you are doing while all of this is going on, if you consider them your enemy, how can they approach you to get things clear? You are the middle of what stands between you and your enemy. It is not what they have done or say it can do or might do. It is you. It is your thoughts, your judgments, your fear, your condemnation. And if you do not feel guilty, you could not attack them. You call your enemy. You believe the enemy is wrong, not to be trusted, unworthy of love. You prepare yourself for the defense, projecting onto the enemy the very things you do yourself. When you have an enemy, look at your own hatred, understand how the hostility disturbs you, and ask yourself, do I really want to attack the very thing I fear? The only enemy I have are the ones I attack. For the love to grow through the test of everyday living, one must respect the zone of privacy where one desires to relate, retires to relate to the inside instead of the outside. Everybody needs a little time and a space where they can go to be alone. When this is called a relationship danger zone. We all need those few little things that we have for ourselves. We could be a thing, place, an activity, or something we cannot share. What this can look like is a relationship where it is mine is theirs. Everybody has that special thing that they just love to do. But this feels like in a relationship I'm going out without you. If you want our relationship to grow and flourish and your loved ones to remain living and kind, give them the time, space, and opportunity to go and make contact with their own mind. Today I will let you be with yourself. When the law of one eye for an eye operates, all the people will end up blind. You simply cannot pay anyone back for something they did to you. Look at the lesson and move on. If one treats you badly, rejects you, abandons you, abuses and disrespects you, you cannot hold on men accountable. Look for the lesson and move on. If your ex-wife took your money, lied to you, neglected your children in your home, it does not mean no woman can be trusted. Look for the lesson and move on. If some white people are oppressors, some black people thieves, some intellectual people condescending, some uneducated people lazy, some light people uppity, some dark people ignorant, it does not give you the right or the authority to treat people who look the same and act the same way. You choose based on your past experiences. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this situation? What can I do to this that I did do before? If there is nothing, simply move on. I am doing the best I can right now. Every woman and every other woman trying to figure out who she is. Women of color have been led to believe that they must be everything to everyone. As a result, we do not know how to ask for support when we need or want it. We become angry with others when they are not there for us. But we must realize people cannot, will not, and do not know how to help if we do not know how to ask. Take 60 seconds for yourself and ask yourself what you need. If it is the assistance with a project, a shoulder to cry on, a special something you need or want for yourself, let other people support you. We make judgments about what people can or will do and move on to our assumptions. We never really know what the person is willing to do or capable of doing until we ask. Nothing is too big or too small to ask for if we need it. When we don't ask for what we need, we keep getting bigger the need. If I need support today, I will ask for it. If you can find someone you will really talk to, it can help you grow in many ways. All need that time and space and opportunity to vent our anger, frustration, or dissatisfaction with the world. Unfortunately, those closest to us bear the brunt of our emotions when we do not release them. If loved ones take their frustration out on us, we must try not to take it personally. We never tell them they don't really feel that way. We must learn to honor those feelings and support them in expressing how they feel. If they say things to us they are painful and angry, we must separate what is truth and what is unreal. Parents must find a way to express their feelings without taking it out on the children. If we are tired, we should say so. If we are angry, we should take a walk before we go home. If we allow ourselves to say what we really feel when we feel it and try listening and not responding, when we would probably have a lot less to fight about. When we express what we feel the moment we feel it, it won't get mixed in with everything else. Today I will talk about what I feel. God is the source and my supply, not my husband. There is only one power and one presence operating in our lives, that is the power of creative source. It operates through our consciousness. It draws to us and provides for us the response to how we think. If you are not aware of the power operating in us, through us and for us, we hold our mate responsible to provide the things we want to need. The source gives us all that we deserve based on our conscious awareness of the presence. If we pressure our mates to give us things, it means we are out of touch. The source provides our food, clothing, and shelter. It provides us with work, fulfills our needs. The source may work through things, and the people with the source is the substance of all things. If we have a mate who is not giving, sharing, and providing us with the things we think we need, we must ask ourselves, what am I thinking about in terms of where and from whom I get my sustenance? God, the omnipotent, omnipresent, provides my every need. Coming together is a beginning, keeping together is a process, working together is success. Whether in business or personal relationships, what makes working together is so difficult is the individual need to be right and to have things our way. As long as we have a position to hold on, we cannot come together or work together. We are not willing to bend. So we somehow get in the way. We must get clear about what we are doing, why we are doing it, and who we are working with. Only with an honest examination of our motives and intent can be surrendered to any working or loving process. If we enter any collective agreement for in only personal goals and with mental garbage, the stability of the group is jeopardized by our dishonest foundation. If we come together in dishonesty, work together in clarity, we can stay together with respect and meet any goal successfully. I respect myself enough to respect the working process. Most people enjoy the inferiority of their friends. Real friends don't notice. And many people of color believe it is their responsibility to stay in relationship, communities, and situations to prove that they are true blue. Nothing could be further from the truth. We owe it to our dreams and place ourselves in an environment that provides the support, the things we want. We have a right to peace, prosperity, and success, even when it means we leave the hood. Does this mean we think the hood is bad? No, simply it means the hood is not where you choose to be. Growth requires that we move on. Movement does not mean rejection. It means we want to broaden our scope to move beyond those things and people who are familiar to us. Does not mean we are leaving them behind. It means we are clearing the path for them to follow if they choose to. New friends are silver, old friends are gold. A friend is a person who dislikes the same people you do. Don't hang out with people who are where you don't want them to be. Your friends and the environment reflect what you really feel about yourself. Winners hang out with winners, losers hang out with losers. When you are on the board, you read the people and the environment that supports and encourages your dream. You won't find that among people who are helpless and hopeless. You won't find support for your group, and among people who shine and complain. You must know and believe that there are people waiting for you in the place you want to be. They will nurture, support, and encourage you to keep moving. People who you know may not always support your growth. For you to move on means you leave them behind. It also means that you prove that what they claim to be responsible is definitely possible. I surround myself with people and things that are good for me. When you are kind to someone in trouble, you hope you'll remember and be kind to someone else, and it will become like a wildfire. For some reason which was never fully explained, Robert despised Rhonda. He told anyone who would listen how rotten, no good, downright dislikable she was. He made a campaign of it. He wrote letters. He made telephone calls. When he saw Rhonda, he smiled and said, "Hello." Robert died suddenly, unexpectedly, and penniless. There are many things that needed to be done. No one stepped forward to help except Rhonda. She made the arrangements, spent the money, and took care of the Robert affairs as best she could. Robert will never be able to say thank you. He's not in a position to say, "I'm sorry, I was wrong about you." He will never be able to pay her the money and the compensate her for the time. But when Rhonda had a family emergency and needed a car to travel across the states, she hardly knew, said, "Here, take my car. When I help you, I help me." When you're not happy with yourself, you cannot be happy with others. Everyone comes into our lives as a mirror back to us. Some part of ourselves we cannot or will not see. They show us the part we need to work on, to let go of. They reveal to us the things we do and reflect and the effects they have on ourselves and others. They say to us openly the things we say to ourselves silently. They reveal to us the fears, doubts, and weaknesses and character flaws we know we have but refuse to address or acknowledge. We can usually see the faults of others very clearly. We all have people in our lives who anger and annoy us, who rub us the wrong way. They may create confusion or chaos. They may bring pain and disruption. They may reject us, abandon us, and create some sort of harm. Before we get busy trying to fix a person or remedy the situation, we should ask ourselves, Why is this person in my life? What am I doing to draw this to myself? How do I do that? What they do, and how can I release this need? When we cleanse, heal, and bring ourselves into balance, everyone in our lives will be do the same or disappear. My relationships are a true reflection of me. Your children are not your children. Take time today to remember that your children also have a heavenly mother and father who are as concerned about them as you are. You are the channel using to bring the child into the life, but you're not the only force guiding that life. You can become so preoccupied with what you should have done that we forget how much we are doing. We can be so absorbed with what is wrong with our children that we miss what is right. We fear our dear or our failure prohibits our giving them what they need to succeed. Today, focus on the goodness that exists in children. They are the things they do well in things. They will learn to do better. Know what you cannot fix for children and cannot plan their lives. What you can do is guide, support, nurture, and love them. But all you have is the best way you can. Once you don't have that, done that, know that the Heavenly Mother and Father, Heavenly Father, want as much, if not more, for them than you do. I surrender my children to the drive force that moves in, through, and for them. Beautiful. Some kids do what you say. Some kids do what you say do not do, but all kids do what you do. A 13-year-old was sent to the cleaners. She was told to go straight there. She did, but she did not come straight home. On the trip home from the cleaners, she became involved with an egg fight. More than half a dozen eggs ended up in the $300 suit, and she took a suit home, rolled it up, and putting it in the plastic bag and hid it in the closet. 3 days later, when she was asked about the suit, she started to cry and produce the bag with the festering suit from the closet. The child is still alive with all of her limbs intact. The parents keep a deep breath and reminded herself, there are times when I do not follow instruction. I do not always admit my mistakes and try to cover them up. When I put on the spot, I cry. Whenever I am confronted with something I've done wrong, I usually don't cry. If we really want to understand why our children behave the way they do, we must take a hard, long, honest look at ourselves. When I see my children, I see my son. It doesn't have to glitter to be gold. They always want, they always need. They gave you that first gray hair. They eat too much. They sleep too much. They have a loving relationship with dirt. They break the good dishes. They never wash the glasses clean. They really know how to embarrass you and play. They talk too loud. They walk too slow. They rarely do what you ask. They say you want it done. They go away. They come back with friends and dirty laundry. They worry you. They frighten you. They always want to question you. They love you. They hate you. They always have a great use for your money. They grow up. They get better. They get older. They get worse. Now just think how empty the world would be if we didn't have the children to love. I really do love my children. Children are gods in work clothing. It is hard for our children to tell us what they really feel. They don't want to hurt us. They don't want to be disrespectful. They may not believe what they think and feel is valuable. As parents, it is sometimes hard for us to let them be who they really are. People with thoughts, feelings, and dreams. We want to protect them. We want to give them the best. We must consider whether the things we want for them are the things they want for themselves. When we fear for them, they may be fear for themselves. Our children have the right to choose, to search, explore, and decide, and they have the stamina to take it takes to follow their faces and get up again. Today I will do more than listen, and I will hear my children. Beautiful. Think wrongly if you please, but in all cases, think for yourself. One of the many things that drive people crazy about their children is that children like to think for themselves. Parents do not like that. Most of the time, parents do not understand what children believe As they do, they may also feel threatened when the children do not see the things the right way, that is, the parents feel. Parents have experiences they believe children cannot. Parents know the dangers and the traps in life, children seem not to care. Parents believe that if children are left to their own devices, they will destroy themselves. Parents need to realize the differences between the discipline and thinking and disobedience and thinking, disrespect and thinking. Children are just people living through the smaller body. They just learn to express themselves, to understand who they are and grow into why they are through their own thoughts. Just because your children do not think as you do doesn't mean they are wrong. I guess the children of the mind, my children have children. When you say I love you, you are actually saying you have awakened a place in me where I am loved. Deep within our being is a place of peace, joy, and knowing. This is a place called love. We are not taught to live from the place of for ourselves. We are taught to sharpen it on others. We do not for others what we will not do for ourselves. We give to others what we think we do not deserve. We turn to others for the very feelings that comes from within. We love from the core of our being. It is the energy by which we were born. We breathe love. We see love. We have our being in love. Why can't we learn to love ourselves the same way we love others? It can be love from our being of love. We can't help but attract more of what we are. Love is what we are. When we know what we that and we love, live through it, we can live in love with ourselves. I am love. A relationship is placing our hearts and soul in the hands of another, one taking charge of another and one soul and heart. When we enter a relationship, we don't often think or see beyond the physical being. We are attracted to the body, face, and personality. We may like what the person does or how they do it, or want to be a part of that. We may even experience a pull from within that we can't actually explain, but how it's not to consider the depth of the person we are attracted to. There's a being before us who has a past, present, and future, their flesh and the foot, and the skull. Feelings, thoughts, and ideas. When we enter the world of another being, we must be willing to be a part of it all. When someone entrusts their hearts to you, they are giving you a piece of the soul. You cannot treat the soul casually. You must protect, nurture, and handle it for care. Our interactions with one another go far beyond the face, body, and the hair, one another thing. One, you must consider when we enter someone's heart, there is a heart and the soul inside of us, of course. They play a part. I respect the heart, mind, and soul of my friends and lovers. Experience is a good teacher, but she runs up big bills. If life is about learning and growing, why did we think of a relationship or beyond a life's classroom? Every relationship, family, friend, love, marriage is about growth and development. There are certain skills we need, certain strengths we must develop, certain lessons we must learn. Our relationship provides the perfect framework for us. We come together to share, learn, and grow. Once we have acquired the skill, imparted the information, and learned the lesson, it is time for someone else. Something else, it is time to move on. That make me life. You don't have me and love me anymore. What it actually says, you don't have anything else to give me. If we should move beyond the emotion of it and look for the growth. Ending a relationship, moving out of a family or friendship would be a great deal less painful. We want to learn how to be grateful for everything we get in the relations. Somewhere beyond the grief, fear, pain, and disappointment, it is mighty lesson just waiting to be learned. Every encounter is an experience of growth. I fear no evil, for thou art with me. No matter what is happening in your relationship, fear nothing and no harm. When you walk with the consciousness of the Creator, there is nothing to fear. You will not fear that people will harm you or leave you. Do not fear people who threaten you. Do not fear obstacles that confront you. Have no fear or harm of your body or possessions. You are walking with a strong arm of the Lord. Do not fear the disapproval. Do not fear criticism. Do not fear judgment. Know that the only energy that has any power over your life is the gift of the breath from God. Do not fear places. Do not fear darkness. Do not fear separation or divorce. Do not fear being alone. Do not fear being cast aside. When you walk with the Master, you are in the best company available. I shall not fear. Those who don't know how to beat with their whole heart don't know how to love either. When we lose a loved one or the death and end a loving long-term relationship, it is perfectly normal to grieve. We must honor and recognize the state of the grief and every emotion we have, that we, the shock, denial, anger, confusion, fear, helplessness, numbness, eventually acceptance. There will be a point when we do not have to do what to do, but we do want to do something. At that point, we must understand and accept there is no death, there is no end, there is only transformation. Our love one now exists in a new time, new place, new reality, and so do we. The relationship as we know it is been transformed from the physical to the spiritual, from marriage to separation, from loveship to friendship. It is not ended, it has changed. When we allow ourselves to grieve, we relieve the negative thoughts and emotions and make it easier to accept the change. When we do not grieve, we get stuck. Grief is natural, normal, and to be expected. We owe it to ourselves in the memory of the relationship to grieve and cleanse our souls. I will take the time to grieve and prepare myself for the change. Wow, beautiful. Very nice. Loved it. Great. Acts of Faith, September. Everything was fine, but the beans were salty. There are people in your life you can never please no matter what you do. There is always something wrong with them, with the world, and with them. Criticism is the way adults cry. When we are in pain, nothing looks or feels good, particularly those close to us. We strike out because we cannot tune into what we are feeling. Criticism is our way of saying something is wrong with us and we see it in you. Do you take it personally when you loved one continually criticizes? They are never upset for the reason they say they are. Or whatever it is not your issue. Do not strike back when you are criticized. Remember, you are with someone who is in pain. Be gentle with them, love them, gently ask them to talk to you about what they really are feeling. I am all right with me. When one door closes, another one opens. Many people ask, why can't I find a good relationship? Perhaps it is because they haven't truly entered the last one. We hold on to people in our hearts and minds long before they have gone. We hold on to anger, hurt, and pain. We may be holding ideas of revenge and destruction. We hold on to the romantic memories and special times, using them as measuring stripes for anyone who comes along. We hold on to our hearts, protecting them from pain. We have our minds filled with memories and doubts. We believe their dreams are shattered and will never come true. With all of this stuff we hold on to, how can others get into our hearts? We must learn how to close the door on our whole relationship. We must sort through the rubbish, clear out the garbage, and freshen up our hearts and minds to receive a new guest. If you believe, I'm closing the door on the past. If you believe you are to blame for everything that goes wrong, you will have to stay until you fix it. Some of us, particularly women of color, set out ourselves up as to be martyrs. We are to blame, it is our fault. We just can't seem to do anything right, so we don't. We criticize mess after mess, crisis after crisis, then allow others to use us as doormats. Smart move. As long as you are to blame, you cannot be held responsible or accountable for what we do not accomplish. We are too busy fixing the mess, figuring out what to do, or if we should be doing anything at all. As long as we have some